Jodi. Today I'm going to show you this Christmas card that's made with a stamp set called Joyful Christmas from the Stampin' Up! Holiday Catalog. You can see the different pieces right here that come in the set, the poinsettia and the leaf, the Joyful Christmas wishes for the front, and also a nice verse for the inside of your card. I've been using this a lot on Christmas cards this fall, and this one I wanted to show you. You can see right there the shine on there. What I did was embossed with some black embossing powder on cherry cobbler and old olive cardstock. So I want to just show you quickly how to do the heat embossing and then just basically putting the card together. So what I did was took a scrap piece of cherry cobbler and I take my embossing buddy and just rub over the cardstock. This is kind of like a resin bag and it takes the static right out of the paper so that the embossing powder will only stick where you want it to be. Next, I'm going to use Versamark ink, and because this is a bigger stamp, I'm just going to ink it up this way. And then I will stamp it right onto the cherry cobbler cardstock. And the Versamark ink, there's so many different things you can do with it. The basic thing is this tone-on-tone image it creates. So it makes some great backgrounds on your cards. But another function of it is to be an embossing ink. So I'm going to take this black embossing powder and just shake it right over that stamped image, tap the extra off, and you can see that the embossing powder stuck right to that Versamark ink. Now I'm going to use my heat tool, and the thing with this is that once it starts heating, you'll notice that it gets shiny as the powder melts. You want to keep the heat moving. If you leave it in one spot too long, it actually will scorch, and then it'll look kind of dull and flat. So I'm going to start it, and we'll watch for it to change. You'll notice it as soon as it starts to happen. It'll take just a moment. Okay, I'll do it from underneath so you can see. You see how it's starting to get shiny right in that area? So I want to just make sure I keep the heat moving so that the other areas melt and stay shiny like that. You can heat it from the bottom like I'm doing, or you can put it up on the top too. Either way, whatever you feel more comfortable with. Okay, so you can see that this embossed image is shiny. It's raised up just a tiny bit. What I would do next is stamp that poinsettia again, and you can see that there's like two layers here. There's this flower here. So on the second one, I'm going to emboss and only focus on that center part, because what I want to do then is take my paper snips and cut out the two parts of the flower. So this is just like I cut this out right here and then stamped and embossed a second one for this piece here. And then you just need to look and line up the two layers. Then I'm going to take a Stampin' Dimensional right on the back here and attach these two together. And you can kind of use your fingers to curl up the edges a little bit if you'd like to. That just gives it some nice depth there. And then I also went ahead and stamped and cut out some leaves on old olive cardstock. So these parts are just done on some scrap. So let's get back to the base of the card. The card itself is 8.5 by 5.5 inches. And then this piece here of cherry cobbler is 5 inches by 3 3/4. And then this one again is Sahara sand, and it's 3.5 inches by 4 3/4. So what I'll want to do is just set my poinsettia on here and then decide where I want the leaves to go, maybe just in here like this. And then I'll use my regular snail adhesive to attach those down. And then I'll pop up the actual flower using the Stampin' Dimensionals again. Now this card, most of my videos are things that are pretty quick and easy, ones that you could very easily duplicate. In all honesty, this is not one I would make 50 of for this, to send out to everybody at Christmas. I could see, a dozen or so of these I think I could reasonably do. So you might have more patience than I do and might be able to do a few more, but I could see myself doing a dozen. It's a beautiful card. The embossing just really makes the color pop, but it's a lot of embossing and a lot of cutting. So I'll peel these off, and that's how I had it. Just set that back down on there. And then I did add some basic pearls to the center of this one. So just a really gorgeous card. It's very stunning, very bright and bold colors when you use the black embossing powder on the cardstock. Thanks so much for watching. For daily creative inspiration, visit my blog or find me on Facebook at Jodi Reinert Stamps.